Incredible resorts in the USA to add to your bucket list. Coming in the #1 spot, we have Amangiri in Utah. By far and large, one of the most incredible places I've ever stayed. All of the food's included. The property is outstanding. You can see all the stars in the sky, and they have such an iconic pool. Next, the Ritz-Carlton in Amelia Island. I absolutely adore this resort. It's on a great stretch of beach. They have incredible pool, spa. The food and drinks here are incredible. Highly recommend. Next up, we have the Four Seasons Maui. This is where White Lotus Season 1 was filmed. This adults-only pool is incredible. The beach is nice, the rooms are great, and the food is also fantastic. Next, we have the Four Seasons Oahu, completely different from Maui. The rooms are also amazing here. Great stretch of beach, several pools, and my personal favorite is this adults-only swim-up bar. Next up, we have the bungalows in Key Largo, Florida. This is a true all-inclusive resort. The food here is incredible, and I love all of the pools. And then we have the Four Seasons Hualalai, incredible golf, food, beaches, several pools, and the rooms are amazing. 10 out of 10, everyone. Insanely gorgeous places in the USA that you have to see. Part 1. Coming in at #1, we have Torch Lake in Michigan. It's crystal clear and absolutely stunning. Next, we have Maui in Hawaii. Next up, we have Key West, Florida. Some of the best sunsets I've ever seen. Zion National Park in Utah. It's larger than life. Williamsburg, Virginia. Super cute town. Isla Morada Sandbar in Florida is crystal clear. Las Vegas in Nevada, especially at night. Next up, Glacier Bay National Park in Alaska is unreal. Pensacola Beach, Florida, the water is so clear. Valley of Fire State Park in Nevada, one of my personal faves. St. Michael's in Maryland is absolutely stunning. Catalina Island in California is super cute. San Diego, California. Next up, we have Puerto Rico. Next, the Big Island of Hawaii. Mackinac Island, Michigan, my personal favorite. And Lake Powell in Arizona and Utah. 13 things you should do the day before your vacation. Coming in at #1, confirm all your reservations and your room category. Just double check to make sure everything's right. Make sure someone at home has your full itinerary and arrange to check in with them. Charge all your electronics. Let your bank and cards know you're out of town so they don't flag your cards. Next, confirm your lodging and restaurant reservations. Know of any dietary restrictions or allergies. Check in your flight and make sure nothing has changed. Make sure you make payments to anything due while you're gone. Next, make sure your pets and kids are taken care of. You don't need a home alone situation. Eat any food in your fridge about to expire or freeze it if you can. Print copies of your passport or ID in case you lose yours. Next, check the weather. Make sure there aren't any substantial changes so that you can pack if you need to. Next up, if you're going abroad, let your phone carrier know and set up any plans you would like to have if you want international calling, and get travel insurance if you haven't already. 5 travel tips that will keep you traveling longer and better. First up, my personal favorite is travel hacking, which can lead to free or nearly free travel. I stayed in this exact resort in Bora Bora for free. I've also booked a $46,000 luxury Maldives trip with business and first class flights and a 5-star overwater bungalow for just $2,200. Next is airline loyalty. Staying loyal nets you miles and status, which can lead to upgrades and various perks. I always use my airline miles to book this business class seats, and they are absolutely incredible and usually only cost a few dollars. Next is using the mobile passport control app to breeze through immigration when returning to the USA. Not using cash or debit cards to purchase things. Get a card that rewards you. My personal favorite is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. This has been the best travel card for years. You get a $300 annual travel credit, airport lounge access. You can get global entry and TSA pre-check. Plus the point system is really good. And lastly, finding deals you can score insane prices on for big bucket list trips. Here are some of the best winter destinations to visit for warm weather. First up, we have Aruba. They have fantastic beaches, lots of lodging options, overall great island. Maldives, they have the highest concentration of overwater villas. Next up, we have Turks and Caicos. The beaches here are outstanding. St. Bart's, also one of my personal favorites. The beaches here, again, are also incredible. Next up, we have Miami. Trust me, you want to come here before it gets sweltering hot in the summer. Nevis. I absolutely loved this Caribbean island. Get a villa, bring your friends, bring your family. It's beautiful. Antigua, they have 365 beaches. So if you get bored at one, you can just keep on moving on to the next one. Next up, we have Anguilla. 33 crystal clear beaches. This is one of my personal favorites. Highly recommend. A Caribbean cruise. Doesn't really matter where you go. Likely you're going to have fantastic weather. Next up, we have Puerto Rico, and you don't even need a passport. Here are my 2 favorite travel hacks that save me a ton of time in the airport, and as an added bonus, they are both free. My first one is the app MyTSA. It's absolutely free to download. You don't even have to put any of your information in there, which is really nice. You can put in whatever airport you want. In the US, it'll tell you wait times. If there's any ground stops from the FAA, it'll show you the average wait times. If TSA PreCheck is open, it gives you all the information you need, plus anything you can bring in your carry-on or checked luggage. My second one is mobile passport control. You know I talk about this all the time. Again, this is free to use. I have not used Global Entry in years because this line, there's never anyone in it. But whenever my plane lands, I just select the airport that I'm arriving at, what terminal I'm at, and then I put in my information, and that's it. I'm the only person in line. And look at this list of places it's accepted at. They have added so many new airports this year, and it's just making life easier. So highly recommend. Both are free. Things that should be rules of the airport and flying in general. First up, do not recline your seat if your flight is less than 3 hours. You shouldn't, for no reason. Under no circumstance should you sit in someone else's seat assuming they'll give it up unless you're giving them your seat in business or first class. Ever. Everyone knows Spirit Airlines is the Ryanair of the US. They charge you to breathe. Just stop complaining about it. If someone by you has a window seat, don't try and force them to close the window. That is the perk of sitting crammed. The person in the middle seat always gets both armrests, period. No questions asked, always. Don't bring stinky food on the plane. And don't paint your nails on the plane either, please. Or spray perfume. Don't stand around the gate before boarding and crowd the area. No one likes gate lice. You'll board when it's your turn, I promise. Next up, if your travel companion is awarded an upgrade, don't force them to give it up. Be happy with their win. That's what friends do. And lastly, here we go. If you have the aisle seat, you get the aisle and the armrest on the aisle only. Anguilla travel tips that you should know before you go. This stunning Caribbean gem has 33 clear beaches, with Shoal Bay and Meads Bay being the most popular. US dollars are widely accepted. A large part of the island closes from mid-August to mid-October, so know this when you're planning a trip. Getting there, American Airlines is the only airline that flies from mainland USA, and on the days it does fly, it usually only does 1 flight per day. You can also arrive by taking a short 6-minute flight from St. Martin, or even taking the 30-minute boat ride over. Next up, if you rent a car, you will drive on the left side of the road. This is a British overseas territory. You can take a boat or small plane to neighboring islands of St. Bart's or St. Martin. 3-for-1 trip here. Next up, pack enough sunscreen, as it is very pricey once you get on the island, like over double the price what you would pay. The most expensive time to visit is during Christmas and New Year's Eve. Anguilla is a British overseas territory. English is widely spoken and the primary language of the island. Things that should be rules of the airport and flying, part 2. Never, under any circumstance, clip your toenails on the plane, ever. When the seat door closes, this is not permission to tickle someone. Ever. Ever. Do not bring more luggage on board than you're allowed, taking up all the overhead space and forcing other people to get their luggage checked. It's so rude. Next, no taking your shoes off and putting your feet on armrests or going to the bathroom barefoot, ever. Please do not wait hours to change a diaper. It's not good for any of us, especially the baby. Next up, do not allow your kids to hit, kick, or continuously shove the seats and people around them. It's very rude. No playing music, movies, or games loudly and without headphones. There's other people around. Stop talking to us when we are reading or trying to sleep. It's extremely rude. Next up, no talking loudly with your phone or with speakerphone on when we're flying. And quit being rude to the airport and the airline staff. They're just there to help us. Planning to travel during Christmas and or New Year's, here's a quick guide of everything you need to know. The first and most important thing, that this is high season, which means most expensive for most popular destinations. Plan to pay a premium. Certain destinations and hotels will have 7 to 14 night minimum stays, and they can book out as early as 6+ months in advance. Double check your lodging to see if there's any mandatory festive fees. A lot of them will charge you during this time period. There are places where the weather is considered rainy season, like Tahiti, Bora Bora, and Hawaii. They still will book up. Here's some of the popular destinations with great weather: Maldives, Caribbean, Central America, South Africa, Thailand, even Australia. Try and book as soon as possible to get the destination and the lodging that you want. Have patience. Airports are extremely busy. There's always delays and people are always in a rush. If you can, try to fly carry-on only to reduce wait times at airports or potential lost luggage. Double and triple check transportation options and times. Some of them have reduced availability or even closed. And lastly, don't forget travel insurance. This is a popular time for delays. How to select an all-inclusive resort that's right for you and for your trip. First and foremost, you want to decide on a budget. This is going to dictate every decision. Higher budgets usually mean luxury, unique rooms with pools, etc. Specialty rooms with pools tend to be the highest category of rooms and sell out quickly. If you have a lower budget but a high wish list, look to Jamaica, Mexico, Dominican Republic. That's where the highest concentration of rooms are. Destinations like Aruba, Antigua, Curacao have low volume all-inclusive resorts. If incredible beaches are priority, do your research. For example, most resorts in Cabo do not have usable beaches. Also check on the sargassum issues. All-inclusive resorts are not all the same. Some do not include tips. In fact, most of them do not. If you're a foodie, please do some research. About 75% of all-inclusive resorts do not cater to foodies. Double check that. Pay attention to wording. Half board and 3 meals a day are not all-inclusive. They are very limited. Spa treatments are almost never included. If you really want to do an overwater villa that's all-inclusive, Maldives is your best bet because the ones in the Caribbean tend to stay booked up for over a year. If you're a big drinker, look to luxury resorts. They usually have in-room stocked bars. Here are some of the most lucrative things I did when I was younger to save money to be able to travel. This was, of course, before I became successful and a travel content creator. First, I gave up subscription services like makeup, magazines, food, etc. I always looked for deals. Travelocity used to have last-minute getaways, and I could get a trip for two for under $1,000. This one was very important. I quit eating out lunch at work. It was costing about $400 a month. I mean, that is a flight alone somewhere, so that's a big one. Next, I got rid of debt. The interest alone was so high and kept me in a vicious cycle, it had to go. I ate out less and I cooked at home more. This was a huge savings. I quit replacing electronics every time something new came out, like an iPhone, and I still don't do this. I wait. I always had a side hustle, whether it was craft fairs, waiting tables, flipping things on Craigslist. I was a hustler. I cut back on happy hours and going out with friends, and I drank at home instead. Next up, I budgeted and prioritized travel above all else because that's what I wanted, and I quit paying for things I wasn't using like the gym. Incredible girls trip destinations that might not be on your radar. Coming in at number 1, we have Bora Bora. Beautiful beaches and destinations are not reserved for couples only. There's a lot of adventure here. I always meet other girl groups here. Don't be afraid to go here without a significant other. You deserve it. Next is Alaska. This is such a grand adventure. I've done this a few times with friends. Alaska is one of those places where you just want to see something so magical, so beautiful, something completely different to what you're used to, and you're just like shocked. The Maldives, another place that people think is reserved for couples only. I've only ever been here with friends. So go solo, go with a friend, go with a family. You can do all of these things without being in a relationship. And last, we have Los Cabos, Mexico. I absolutely love this region of Mexico. It's more upscale than Cancun. Fantastic resorts, spas. You can meet lots of other people. There's lots of things to do. And the food is incredible in this area. Here is my secret to getting luxury resort stays for free in some of the most stunning destinations all over the world. First up, let's talk about La Bora Bora. I was able to stay here for free. I stayed in one of their overwater villas with a private pool. This place is so beautiful. I also did one of their land villas as well, just because I wanted to see what the two were like. And it even came with free breakfast. One of my other favorites is Four Seasons Maui. Stayed here for free. This place is so stunning, and the adults only pool is the best. So how did I do it? All right. I earned all my points through the Chase Sapphire Reserve card that I then cashed in for free stays at these hotels and resorts. And these are just two of my favorite. I've stayed in hotels all over the world. I have been a ride or die for this card since 2016. And you get a lot of other great things like a $300 annual travel credit. You'll get a sign-up bonus, all kinds of stuff. In November, I'm going to the Maldives at the Ritz-Carlton that I cashed in for points. Here are 7 of the best beach destinations to visit during the fall. First up, we have Aruba. This island has so much to offer its visitors, lots of great hotels, stunning beaches, and neighboring islands of Bonaire and Curacao are great as well, and they sit below the hurricane belt. Next, we have the Maldives. Weather starts to get really good end of October into November before high season picks up in December, so you can still find really good rates to visit and visit this paradise. Hawaii is one of my all-time favorite places to visit. October is historically the best time to visit. I always have impeccable weather, lower crowds, great rates. Next up, Seychelles. This is one of the most incredible places I've ever been. The beaches here are 10 out of 10. I can't get over it. You just have to add it to your list. Last but certainly not least, we have Bora Bora. The crowds have calmed down, the prices have gone down slightly, and the weather is still great. Here's the story of how I get free flights and upgrades all over the world, and you can too. My number one tip is airline loyalty. I picked an airline who flies out of my home airport frequently and flies to the places I love. That's American Airlines. I earn my status by staying loyal and booking flights either with American Airlines or their partner airlines. I get upgraded frequently to business and first class flights because of my status, from seats here in economy to seats here in business or first. Looking through an example, Air Tahiti Nui is a partner airline with American Airlines, and I fly them pretty exclusively to Tahiti. On my recent trip, I earned 93,000 miles and points towards status. I then use those miles to convert it into flights to amazing destinations like the Maldives. I pretty much only use my miles on Q Suites because this is such a fantastic business class product to fly super long distances. And I think that's what the value is. So my best tip is to stay loyal, book directly with those airlines, and collect those miles. Have you ever wondered how much it costs to stay in the 2-story presidential villa in Bora Bora? This place is famous because Kim Kardashian once lost her earring in the ocean here, which was later found, but her sister yelled at her, and it was kind of funny. This is the Conrad Bora Bora, and in fact, they have 2 presidential villas that both sit at the end of the pontoon with unobstructed views of the ocean. Now, this villa comes in at just over 3,200 square feet. You've got 2 full floors of space, your own private pool, direct access to the ocean, and several seating areas outside. Inside, you have 3 full bathrooms. The 2 on the first floor have a tub that overlook the ocean. You also have 2 full bedrooms, a full living area, a sauna and hot tub on the second floor, an outdoor dining area on the second floor. This place is actually marvelous. So tell me, how much do you think it costs to stay here for a week or even a night? For a week, it's almost $52,000, $7,500 a night. It was not this expensive when I stayed here, but this place is magnificent. Here are things that change the way that I travel for the better. First and foremost, I quit using cash and debit on purchases and got a travel card that converts into free travel. I learned the art of travel hacking by doing that, so I can get free or nearly free hotels and flights, which allows me to visit expensive bucket list destinations like Bora Bora and Maldives. Like here in Bora Bora, I stayed here 100% free. And here, 4 Seasons Maui, 100% free. I got lounge access. I get access into free airport lounges through various cards and status perks. I got TSA PreCheck and clear to skip the lines when leaving the airport in the USA through security. I started traveling solo because I didn't want to wait on anyone. Best decision I ever made. I got the mobile passport control app to allow me to skip the lines in immigration when coming back to the USA. I stay true to American Airlines and their partner airlines, giving me status and miles regularly, which allows me to convert those miles into business and first class flights regularly for little to no cost. And I carry on only 99% of the time to avoid lost luggage. Here are the top 5 beach destinations you should add to your bucket list if you love crystal clear waters. First up, we have the Maldives. The crystal clear waters and overwater bungalows are synonymous with this destination. Anywhere you go and stay, you're going to see water like this. It's absolutely gorgeous. Next, we have St. Bart's. This tiny Caribbean island has 11 stunning beaches, and they're all extremely unique. Highly recommend. Next up, we have Bora Bora. This tiny island in the South Pacific boasts stunning crystal clear water, so it doesn't matter if you're swimming at the beach, in the lagoon, or off your bungalow. The waters here are crystal clear, and you can see everything down to the bottom. Anguilla. This Caribbean island took me by surprise last year when I first visited. There's 33 crystal clear beaches, and they're all absolutely gorgeous and not packed. Seychelles. There's so many beaches here. A lot of them have granite boulders along them. There's beaches you can only get to by boat. Every single one is stunning. Here's 4 of the best adults-only all-inclusive resorts you have to see. Coming in at number 1, we have Hammock Cove Antigua. This is a boutique property. Every room has a pool, 24-hour room service, stocked bar, stunning beaches. Next up, we have Unico Riviera Maya, Mexico. Absolutely love this property. Several pools, The rooms are incredible, great views, and where I think this property really shines that seems to go under the radar is the food. Every single meal was outstanding. Next up, we have the bungalows in Key Largo, Florida. Yes, the USA does have its own all-inclusive resort. These rooms are very spacious and absolutely stunning. Again, the food here is incredible, a must. Lastly, we have Sandals, South Coast, Jamaica. This room specifically, this is the Swim Out Rondeval Butler Suite. 24-hour room service. You have your own pool. You have a water network way that you can swim in, and you can dine all over the property. It's amazing. Here are some of the Hocus Pocus filming locations in Salem and some of the absolute best tips for visiting right now. First, we have Allison's house. This is the Ropes Mansion at 318 Essex Street. Next up, this is where Allison turned down Max right after they left the school. This is the Salem Common School. This is the high school, actually no longer a school, but it's across from Salem Commons. Next, we have Max and Danny's house at 4 Ocean Avenue. And lastly, I went to the Old Town Hall / Halloween party at 32 Derby Square. Now listen, if you're driving into Salem right now, download the Passport parking app. All of the best parking lots have meters and you need to pay with this app. Have it preloaded and ready to go before you arrive. Trust me, it's the best. Next up, an estimated 1 million people visit in October, so arrive early like 7 to 8 a.m. Public restrooms are hard to come by unless you're a paying customer at a restaurant or at the Peabody Essex Museum, and there are porta potties around the city. And if you don't want to drive, you can take the train or ferry from Boston. Places I ate during my trip to Boston, absolutely worth the visit. Coming in at number 1, we have Salty Girl, hands down the best lobster roll I've ever had. Tate for their pistachio croissants. Boston Chowda for their chowda bread bowls. Connor's Farm for their cider and piping hot donuts. Strega, every dish here was incredible, starting with the whipped ricotta. We tried 3 pasta dishes, including the spicy alla vodka rigatoni that they cook in the Parmesan wheel. So delicious. Next up, we have Mike's Pastry. They have the best cannolis. Red Line Cafe in Salem, delicious breakfast sandwiches. Cane's Bakery, that Boston cream donut I'd fly back for. Lolita, this Mexican restaurant. Every dish was incredible. I really love these Brussels sprout tacos, tuna tacos. They also have cotton candy they give everyone before they leave. Coterie, they have really great soups and salads. And lastly, we have the Ugly Mug. The breakfasts here in Salem are amazing. Have you ever wanted to stay in an overwater villa with a pool and thought maybe places like Bora Bora and Maldives were too far? Let me show you your next best pick. This overwater villa is in Montego Bay, Jamaica at the Sandals Royal Caribbean property. This villa is massive. Comes with 3 separate rooms. You get a wonderful king-size bed, a butler's pantry. The butler will stock your bar with whatever top shelf booze you want, any drinks you want, any food you want. There's a special butler's menu. They will bring you food 24/7, and from any of the restaurants, all you have to do is give them a call. You have indoor, outdoor showers, which is really amazing. You also get a walk-in closet, and they give you the Sandals tote and towels you can take home. The outdoor deck is all yours. You've got a private pool, 4 separate seating areas. You've got a hammock. You've got your own loungers for the sunset. Everything is included, and the water is insanely beautiful. It's just like Bora Bora, so take advantage. Hotels that left me absolutely speechless that I think you should visit. First up, we have the Four Seasons Bora Bora. You will literally think that you're living in a postcard. It is that stunning. The water's crystal clear. The rooms are magnificent. Everything amazing. Next up, we have Nobu, Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. They say if you're still thinking about something, it's probably important to you. I'm still thinking about this property. The rooms were incredible, but the food is where this property absolutely shines. I am still thinking about every single dish that we ate here. 20 out of 10 perfect. Like, you can't beat it. Next up, we have the Four Seasons Anguilla. This property took me by surprise because I had never been to Anguilla, but oh my God, absolutely worth the trip. The beaches are outstanding. The food is absolutely insane. And all of the rooms come with different types of pools. Last but certainly not least, we have Six Senses in the Seychelles. This is my hands down favorite property. It's located in Africa. Crystal clear beaches, absolute perfection.